and start. Hopefully we're good here. Testing, testing. We're good on this end, and we are good, hopefully? Come on. Load up. There we go. Alright. We are live here, and ping there. Welcome in, Talon. Hope you're doing well today. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I know Monday... Did I do the... Is this... I know I signed up for the star thing, so maybe it's like a day away. When is that? When is the star thing? Shoot. I forgot about that. I know I signed up for it, so we should be okay. When is that, now that I'm thinking about it? I don't know, it's the second that I went live, I was like, wait a minute, I knew I was forgetting something. When is that? Okay. That's maintenance, so it's probably right after maintenance, so... The star thing is probably... Where is it? Tomorrow! Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. So we're gonna have to do that Wednesday then, I suppose. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, IRIAM has an event, that is going to be, star-based, but it's cumulative. So we all, as founding streamers, get to work together, and I think that's a thing that's happening starting tomorrow, and I'll be on Wednesday for that. Alrighty. I'm doing alright. I'm figuring out a lot of stuff right now, actually. I'm figuring out a lot of different things right now, but how are you? I think we are good to go here. And good to go here. Alrighty. Hello, Sierra. Welcome in. Nice to see ya, nice to see ya. Chockful, hello on the YouTube end. I hope you're doing well. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's weird Monday, but it's a good Monday. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Hero. And Celtic Alchemist, hello, welcome in. You're probably gonna be, wait, do you have off today, or are you gonna be super busy today? But hello. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not gonna try, because it would end up being very insulting. But, happy St. Patrick's Day to you, Celtic Alchemist, and Solar Sky, hello. Welcome in. Chockful, happy St. Patty's Day. Working today, but not long? Okay. I was wondering, like, I was curious if this was gonna be, like, your crazy time or something. I was, like, is Celtic Alchemist gonna be working, like, is this, like, a Black Friday kind of situation for you, or is it, fairly calm? I wasn't really sure, but I was curious about that. I'm like, what level of intensity is this day going to bring? But yes, hello. Today we are doing Q&A. So if you have any branding questions, I'm happy to answer them today. I'll honestly get more "Are you really Irish?" than number of drinks served. Oh dear. Oh dear. I mean, I feel like you can prove it by being able to speak Gaelic, right? I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to replicate that otherwise. Charming Falcon, hello, welcome in. I hope that you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys are all having a good start to the week. Silly question first, is mayonnaise a brand? Sierra, why do you always do that one? Why is that always your go-to? I mean, mayonnaise is not a brand, but Hellmann's is. Hellmann's mayo is indeed a brand, yes. What other mayo brands are there? I think I only know of one. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, yes, there are brands of mayo. I don't know any other QB mayo supremacy. That's fair. Is that Girl DM's favorite? I always forget, like, I do hear that one around, so I'm like, wait, is that a Girl DM thing? It's going well, making myself coffee. A friend may or may not have drank a little bit of whiskey this morning. That's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. Still debating if I should continue VTubing. I still love VTuber character. Any suggestions? I think when it comes to VTubing, you really should be thinking about, like, why you want to be a VTuber in the first place. Because you bring up a really good point when you say, I still love my character, right? I think that that is something that is kind of creating a little bit of friction in the VTuber community right now. There are a lot of people with OCs who want to express their OC and use their OC and show off their OC, but they don't actually want to be a VTuber in the very traditional sense. They want their OC to get popular. I see this a lot lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed the same thing, but this is something I'm definitely seeing lately. People are turning OCs into VTubers because they want the OC to get popular because it's their OC, it's their baby, right? It's not them. It's not, like, the people who have OCs aren't saying that they are their OC. It's like they're not really VTubing. They want to show off a character design that they're proud of, or lore that they're proud of, or a story that they're proud of, but they're not necessarily wanting to be a VTuber in the sense that they don't actually want to be, they don't really want to make content. They don't want to be a content creator. They don't want to edit videos. They don't want to, I mean, yeah, they do want to commission a bunch of art of their OC, but they don't really want, like, the path of being a content creator. They'll play games on stream, but it's very different, in my opinion. It's a very different mindset. It's a very different direction. And I think that there's a lot of people who want more than anything for their characters and for their OCs to become really well known, but they don't want to go into content creation and be a VTuber. But because VTubers can get very large and well known, they think that the best course of action is to be a VTuber, to get the name of the OC out. Would that mean VTweeter's not a VTuber then? Jokes aside, that's interesting. A lot of those people would be better off making a Twitter account for the OC than trying to force themselves into VTubing, if that makes sense. And this is nothing against them. This is straight up, like, I don't think that they're going to be happy in the long run, because content creation is a whole career, right? Like, yes, it can be a hobby as well. Not knocking anyone who uses it as a hobby. That's completely valid. But I think that it is a conflict of expectation, I would say. Hello, Shaimuku. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well today. Happy Monday. I just don't like voice, but still love making content my way. Well, then do it your way. Because keep in mind, Talon, there's hundreds of thousands of people who present themselves in a character form without being a VTuber, right? Like, look at Jaden Animations. Granted, Jaden does have a model, but that didn't come first, right? Jaden Animations is a storytime animator. That's what she's known for. Who's the guy who does the kids movies? Saberspark. Saberspark is a movie reviewer, right? And he has his own persona. You can have a character and get known for being a character without being a VTuber. It's not like they don't have to connect, right? Before VTubing, people got known for their characters all the time. Mockingbird, hello, welcome in. I see that you're new to IRIAM as well, so hello. I hope you enjoy IRIAM. My name is Starlight, I'm a prismatic kitsune. It's nice to meet you. We're currently talking about VTuber branding, and if you have any questions about that or just want to chill and lurk, that's totally fine. Majority of people, consciously or not, all want to grow bigger than what they are now. Yeah, and it's like, it's a very humanoid nature type of thing, right? Like, everyone wants to get known, everyone wants to grow. I mean, look, I don't think a lot of us would be here if we weren't trying to get our names out, right? Like, that's just the honest truth of it. Yes, it is very fun for a lot of people. A lot of people do treat it as a hobby. For me, I'm more on the career side. Other people are more on the hobby side. It's okay to be on either end. But yeah, I mean, I think there's just a lot of people who don't actually want to do VTubing, but kind of see it as the only path for what they want to accomplish. And that's not always true. Yes, it has a lower barrier to entry with everything like Vroid and PNG tubing and everything like that. But gone are the days of getting well known just for being a VTuber, right? That was a big thing during the 2020, during that crazy time. But we're past that now. So now it's more so about content creation, in general, right? Can list a whole bunch of early YouTube personalities who are still remembered for characters. Yeah, exactly. Or, like, you know what? Like, look at Dream, right? Dream, did, like, a face reveal, and it didn't go the way he had wanted, unfortunately, but he was fully known for that mask design, right? You can absolutely be a content creator in your own way. You do not have to be a VTuber. I am a VTuber because I have very specific reasons, very specific things I want to do that only VTubing allows me to do. And there's a lot of people who don't necessarily want to do those things and think that they still have to be a VTuber. They don't. Hello, Vessa. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well today. Happy Monday, or decent Monday, I guess. Nice to see you. We're already on the branding talk, and we were discussing, like, Talon was saying, like, you know, not really sure if he wants to be a VTuber, but still likes the character, and we're like, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. You can have a character and not be a VTuber, because there's hundreds of thousands of people who've done the same thing, you know? Happy So-So Monday. Yeah, exactly. So, don't feel like you're forced to go into the realm of VTubing. It's very expensive if you go live 2D. It's very intense. A lot of people feel like they have to keep up with, like, either making art of themselves or buying art, like skebs and commissions and everything. People expect you to live stream. You don't have to be a live streaming VTuber, but you're gonna have to be making content in some form, right? That's kind of what C Hero was saying before. VTuber versus VTweeter. So there are people who are on Twitter saying that they're VTubers and they never actually, like, make videos or go live or stream or anything like that. Those people, in my personal opinion, and this is a personal opinion, and I have nothing against them, okay? I have nothing against them. I think that they would be happier if they did not have the word VTuber in their name, especially these days, right? Because again, I was saying, gone are the days of getting famous just for being a VTuber. I think that they would be happier. You know what? Does anybody remember the old Tumblr Ask Blog days? I think a lot of people would be happier if they went that kind of direction, you know? Like, make an entire Twitter account dedicated to your OC, telling stories about your OC, make comics about your OC, make people care about your OC. But you don't have to be a VTuber to do it either. People are utilizing OCs way before VTubing. Exactly. Always thought about VTubers, but time and my content makes me think I should look into other avenues. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know a YouTuber in the Star Rail niche became a VTuber at 6 months ago. She became a VTuber because she likes it and uses it pretty commonly in all her videos. Yeah, if it works for your content, then take advantage of that, right? It's kind of annoying how I thought I had a calling, but then later found out it's not for me. And that's okay too, right? I've dealt with that a lot already in content. You know, I've changed directions so many times. I've changed career paths so many times. Have you, Talon, I'm sure you've heard of this before. Have you heard of the term fail fast? It's a great avenue for artists, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. Charming Falcon says, for me, I can't see myself benefiting from VTubing over just doing the same thing, but not virtually. I'd be fine with just showing my real self and just gabbing and socializing. But again, that's just me. And nothing wrong with that. There's actually a lot of things that you can do that VTubers cannot do. If you just showed off your real self and made content, you have a lot more opportunity and a lot more avenues. You don't have to make an asset every time you want to make a joke, you know? All I wanted to do was make cool character designs and inspire from others. LOL. Got no dream. That's totally fine. You just want to, like, make cool characters, get inspired. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like there is this sort of burden of expectation that people feel like they have to become VTubers nowadays. And I get the appeal, and if it's for you, then that's completely fine. Like, I support you if you want to do it, if you like it, if you think it's something that elevates your content. But I feel bad for the people that feel like it's a forced option that they don't actually like and that they don't actually have passion for, and they would rather, they would rather, like, you know, in the artist case, they would rather not stream and just make art, right? I had a friend one time like that. They thought that their key to success was through streaming, and then they learned that they actually really, really hate streaming, and then they went off to just make art and just develop their OC through the art, just through social media, and that's been way more successful for them. So, you know, to each their own, right? A lot of my hobbies would be easier with IRL content, but I have zero desire to get in front of camera for paranoid privacy reason. That's definitely fair too, yeah. That is definitely fair. I can... yeah, I definitely understand that too. The thing with, like, the IRL hobbies is very relatable, right? Like, I don't even want to do hand cam stuff. It's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing. I think for me personally, VTubing allows me to make content that I otherwise never could in a way that satisfies me personally, you know? Like, for me, a lot of what I like to do is very, very fantasy-based, very immersion-based, and that is something that VTubing lends itself perfectly into. A lot of people don't like doing that. A lot of people think that that is fake or weird or cringe or whatever, and they have no interest in doing that, and they just want to get their OCs out. That's actually an interesting thing regarding the OCs. Alright, Mockingbird, have a good rest of your day. The interesting thing with the OCs, right? And you know, I think I have to get my OCs out there by playing, by streaming or whatever. Think about why you have an OC. Most people who are really, really, really into OCs in general, from what I can tell, from what I'm gathering, they have a story in mind. They have lore built up. They have a whole direction of things that they want to take, of, like, they basically want to have, like, the next Genshin plotline, right? They want something very deep, meaningful, and they would, like, dream of writing a book or something. Here's the interesting thing. A lot of them probably, in my personal opinion, probably think it's a good direction because we have such an emphasis on lore. We have such an emphasis on lore and branding and story, right? My whole thing being in the atelier with you stargazers, that is a whole thing in and of itself. But after a debut, after a VTuber debut, after the party, after it's all said and done, what does the average VTuber do? After a debut, after they've told the lore, after they've shown off the model design, after they've talked about who they are and what demons they've fought and what lords they've overcome, what do they end up doing? Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Games, streaming random games. 100%. 100%. So now tell me, right? Your whole thing to do this was to get more well-known for your OC, right? Now your content is playing video games. Does anybody know the lore of your OC? Does anybody know who your OC is? Does anyone even know, like, what their love's name is, or the valley that they live in, or any of that kind of stuff? They don't. They know that you play a game. No, and most likely not many people would care. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, the games valley. Exactly. So now you are stuck as a content creator playing video games, and nobody knows anything about your OC except for what they look like. Are you accomplishing the goal of getting the OC out there now? Hello, Newbie Reaper, hello. So, in my personal opinion, a lot of these people who think that they want to go into VTubing would be so much better off, making the Ask blog, you know, making the Twitter account, having the personality. Imagine if you're an artist, right? You could have all this time, you know, playing games thinking that everyone thinks it's the expectation. Or you could be making this big Twitter account, constantly telling things about your world, constantly telling things about your story, constantly doing Ask blogs and things like that, and then slowly gaining an audience that way for people who intently learn everything about your storyline. Also, hello, Tantan, welcome in! It's lovely to see you. Hello. Happy Monday. Riku, hello, hello! I hope you're doing well, Tantan. It's lovely to see you. We are on the VTuber branding talk. And I was, we had someone talking in here about how, they weren't sure if they wanted to be a VTuber, and I was explaining, because they like their character still. And I was explaining, you don't necessarily have to be a VTuber to explore the character itself, right? There's so many people who have OCs, and they'd rather be known for the storyline of their OCs, not necessarily VTubing and content creation. It's a weird path, right? There's so many people who want their OCs to get known by being a VTuber, but then the irony is that once you're a VTuber, you're probably not going to get well known with stuff about the OC. You're going to be known for, like, playing video games and having, like, game events and parties and things like that. It's definitely a path people take, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, like, think about your goals, right? Your personal goals as a content creator. The OC people, why can't they be a vlogger? The OG VTuber Yamamoto is a vlogger. They could, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. You don't have to stream to be a VTuber, but a lot of these people don't want to make videos either. They really want to get the, they really want to get the story of the OC out. But if you want to do that, then it's hard to do on stream. You could do it on a video, but then you have to also be open to editing video. This is a bit off topic. Many indie game devs said that they don't do YouTube because it's hard, so they just rely on the streamer for getting their games noticed. So yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. You just want the OC alive. If the main thing is to see the OC alive, then that is another angle. Yeah, there's definitely a validity in that. I'm stuck on whether just being a voice is enough. Visuals seem to be essential. Then there's the fact I'm already known in my industry, which complicates things. Yeah, because you're doing competitions and things, right? You could always have, like, a pen name, maybe? If you wanted to. I think a lot of them feel like streaming is the only way. They see it as the norm. True, and, like, as you were saying with Yamamoto, it's not the norm. Or Kizuna Ai, right? Our queen of VTubers. Not a streamer. YouTuber. And now focusing on, mainly music and stuff. So yeah, you don't have to stream to be a VTuber, but by definition, a VTuber is somebody who is going to be making some sort of video-based content. So if video-based content is for you, is not for you, then I think it would be more beneficial to spend the time doing things, to visually explain your content through, blogs or comics or stories, right? I want to see, like, the Ask blog move to Twitter or something, you know? It's very hard to get people to care about an OC, because when people care about a fictional character, there's generally a huge budget of, media to consume to get into it, right? And somebody who has OC doesn't have the huge budget to create the crazy amount of media to get everything, all consumed. Videos are a lot more complex to make, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, true. There's another route that requires a lot of technical knowledge and money. It's an idea not all that feasible. Some people are starting to make animatronics of their OC. Off topic, when Kizuna Ai announced her return and did return, I wonder how she would adapt to the VTubing world today. She'll probably still do fine because she is Kizuna Ai, but she'll definitely have more of a music producer focus, I think. Not all VTubers need to keep the identity hidden, depending on the content. Creating a cool 2D character as a persona and doing PNG and handcam streams could be an option for Celtic Alchemist. That's very true, too, yeah. It really depends on, like, yeah, you don't have to keep your identity hidden, right? Sapphire is, a mutual of mine, and she is very open about her VTubing self and her IRL self because she does conventions. And when you do conventions, you kinda have to be open about who you are, right? She does conventions, and she works for HTC Vive. So she's open on both ends, and that's totally viable. I think there's a shallowness sometimes to the gaming thing. I see lots of people blow up just because it's a cute VTuber model reacting to famous gaming moment, instead of people having the actual social connection with the actual person. Yeah, I understand that. I definitely understand where you're coming from. Especially, like, it's crazy, right? A lot of people can blow up over, like, a single short. Okay, backtrack. Not a lot of people. It's rare and it's very luck-based, but it's like there are people who can blow up over like a single short or a single moment, right? It can go viral, as they say. I don't think that is as applicable to VTubing as it once was, because as I was saying before, being a VTuber nowadays is not the ticket that it used to be. Earlier 2020s, just being a VTuber alone could really, really skyrocket you, and that's not really the case anymore because of how oversaturated it is. So I do think that newer VTubers have to put in a lot more work. A lot more work. Although, on the other hand, I have seen people on Twitter who have seemingly grown very, 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 very fast, just based on, like, model concept, right? I think there's a reason that a lot of VTubers emulate popular VTubers, and I'm not gonna go into the drama, but oh my gosh, I keep noticing so many VTubers looking like Shy Lily, and they get so big so fast. I'm not gonna go into any part of that, but, like, it works. It works for them. It's crazy that it works, but I don't know. Every time I see, if it works, it works, right? Anytime I see, like a new C-tuber, right? It's always like, hi, I just started out, and then I check their page, and they have, like, 1,000 followers. And I'm like, okay, you've got Shy Lily's floppy ears, you've got her bikini swimsuit, you've got the collar, you've got the orca tail. Like, you're doing all of it. I see what you're doing. And I need to catch up here. Not to brag, before I became a VTuber, I started making strange, creepy short videos. Some of them would get noticed, despite me not knowing anything about YouTube growth nor tags. If you have a niche that's uncommon, that can absolutely work, yeah. I don't think making videos is that complicated as a lot would think. It took time to learn, and now I enjoy it. It's glad that you enjoy it, but keep in mind, there's all different types of videos, right? There's all different levels to video editing, and some can be very intense. I want to see more of VTubers just diving into the lore or the OC aspects. I think that's a huge hidden gem that we have over most other streamers. Lore videos are always fun to see. I definitely agree, Newbie Reaper. I really, really want to get really deep into that at some point. It does take a lot more work, of course. Big regret of mine is not pursuing VTubing earlier than I did. Had VRM since late 2019. Could have been one of the decent-sized indies. I definitely understand that. I understand where you're coming from. Mockingbird, thank you so much for following. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Not to brag or turn into drama, what do you think about female versus male VTuber when it comes to branding? I think that the discrepancy is so much tinier than it used to be. So much tinier. There used to be this whole thing, early VTubing, like, oh, only female streamers can get ahead, only the girls can get ahead. That is so not true anymore. And I think that the best example of that is IRIAM. I think IRIAM has really, really easily proved that the discrepancy of male versus female VTubers is smaller now than it ever has been. Some of our largest streamers on IRIAM are the guys, and they're doing so well, and they're putting in so much effort into the content. Yeah, exactly, Tantan, the boys are popping off, exactly. The discrepancy is, like, minuscule these days, if it even still exists at all. Like, yes, you're gonna have a certain type of audience that like girl streamers, in the same way that IRL audience is gonna like their girl streamers, but that does not at all mean that a guy cannot succeed in this day and age. The guys are really, really popular. They've got a very, very tight fan base. There is nothing stopping a guy VTuber now. The combos give me a blast of inspirational motivation I wasn't expecting, but I'm using it. Heck yeah, I'm very glad to hear that. I noticed some of the male streamers are astronomical on IRIAM. They are. And, like, they deserve it. They work so hard. They take advantage of, like, all the events, all the work. They are producing the merch. They are working so hard. But they're doing really well. There's something else I need to point out. My 2-sentence horror story is actually getting some decent views, despite me not uploading for many months. I feel kind of bad that I'm burning out, because it's making progress. Well, focus on the type of content that you like, honestly. Monarch or Amelie had the most interesting lore, which explained a lot of her OC being in the anime cover videos. Very well done coincidence, but became unhinged and scuffed as time passed by. That kind of goes back to, like, you can have the most amazing lore as a VTuber, but you're going to dive into the realm of, like, streaming games. Right? Like, you can have the craziest lore, but it always goes the same way. I do love Amelie's lore, though. She did it in such a beautiful way, and I think that Amelie, no joke, genuine opinion, has one of the best examples of VTuber branding that I've ever seen. From the visuals to the motifs to the Oshi marks to the lore tie-in, to the connection with her past work, to continuing all of that, to the outfits that continue a narrative while still holding on to that chaos side of her. Everything is so cohesive and works so nicely together, and it's very visually unique. Like, her design doesn't look like anybody else's. You're not gonna mistake it for anyone. The silhouette is very unique. The halo is very unique. I think that Amelie / Monarch, I'll probably have to keep saying Amelie more nowadays going forward. I think she has some of the strongest branding, honestly. Celtic Alchemist says, I've been really stuck on the privacy thing. Oh, wait, that was for Vessa, sorry. Amelie loves VTubing, which is why she became one. Funny that she has over 20 different nicknames people made by the fans, people online, and even family members. I can see that. I can see that. Some of that also comes down to personal taste. Amelie made the siren model because, quote, I'm a fish now. She does what she finds fun. Me ready to? Okay. Really stuck on the privacy thing, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Smart people will probably figure out who I am anyway, so why hold back content trying to hide? Yeah, exactly. I think that when it comes to privacy, it is really, really personal choice. Yes, there is that part about, like, you see the streamers getting doxxed when they become huge, right? Like, the PewDiePies of the world, right? But there are a lot of things that if you are open about who you are, that you can do that other creators cannot do, right? Like, Celtic Alchemist, when I think about all of the work that you do when it comes to the competitions of the drinks and everything, we don't get to see much content like that on the VTubing side. Like, I'm not even saying you have to be a VTuber for this. I'm just saying, like, because VTubers are so well known for streaming and playing games or just chatting or something, there's such a lack of outside interesting content that stands out from the rest. You know what I'm saying? There's one mutual I have, Daishima, and they do tea making. They do streams that are tea making based. So I think that when you're not doing games and when you're not doing just chatting, and even not doing art, because art's oversaturated too, you have a niche that a lot of people don't get to see and don't get to explore, and that can be a really, really powerful and positive thing. You're saying even if the thing I'm doing started to succeed, even if it's burning me out, I should try to find something I enjoy more? I think that the number one thing, you basically just answered your own question. I'm succeeding with this thing, but it's burning me out. Should I try something that I enjoy more? The answer is yes. You should try something that you enjoy more. Because if you're burning out from it, then the success ultimately doesn't matter. Because if you're going to burn out, the success is going to disappear. So you might as well be doing something that you like. Because you can't, like, force yourself to make content that you hate. At that point, it ends up being a job that you don't get paid for. So I would focus on the thing that you like doing. It's a cool niche, whether VTuber or not. Yeah, exactly. Mead is becoming a really big thing now, too. A lot of people are really getting into, like, mead work. So I think that there's definitely a niche for people who are literal contest winners for drinks that can talk about some very, very niche talent that a lot of people would probably find really fascinating. I apologize if this has been well tread before. Have you seen or talked about PewDiePie's art journey? I have, yeah. I think that it seems completely valid to me. If you work really hard on the same thing consistently and you make something a challenge, then you absolutely can get to the level that PewDiePie did. Fair enough, I'm acquainted with a large YouTuber that does horror content, been doing it for decades. He says he's kind of miserable by it, but does it because he has to pay the bills. It's sad, because at that point, it's just a dead-end job. Then it's just no different, right? A mutual I know, Astrokyle came back and now makes a video on TCG, stepped away from the gacha game content. Yeah, you gotta focus on the thing that you like doing most, right? Big brain fox replied to Talon. Why basically do job level work you hate for free? Even if you grow from it, you'll still hate it. Yeah, exactly. Like, the thing with the people who want to, like, make it in content creation, the whole point of making it in content creation is to do something that makes you happier than your standard 9 to 5. If you hate it more than a standard 9 to 5, then you're better off doing the standard 9 to 5. The whole point of trying to quote-unquote make it is to do something that you enjoy as an alternative to the thing that you don't enjoy. That's the main thing, right? Like, for me personally, as a freelance artist, I am trying to figure out what works for me in terms of making an income and also what I still enjoy doing. Because I could make an income doing graphic design for law firms. It's technically art. Would I be happy doing it? No, not really. You use Times New Roman and Helvetica and add a few tabs and spaces and it's not fun, and there's no creativity involved. So if I'm going to be pursuing a freelance art career, then I should try to do it with something that I enjoy doing more than if I was working a 9 to 5. But yeah, that's the... I'm still trying to figure what that is for me at the moment, because there's so many risky endeavors in that direction. There's so many different ways you can take things. Yeah, like, for me, streaming is not a huge amount of income. Streaming is, like, not really paying the bills, so to speak, but I do it because it is a way that I am trying something that is branching out from just doing art, right? I'm trying to find variety in what I do, and so far I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think I was joking with Vessa the other day. I said, you know, streaming is like my once a week time to play games. And I have a lot of fun with it, so it's been enjoyable. It's been an interesting journey, let's say. That's basically the reason I don't ghostwrite for people. That and unreasonable clients. Ah, very true, very true. That was a joke? Wait, no, it wasn't a joke. Did I say it was a joke? I guess okay, I said I was kind of joking with you in terms of, like, saying it, but it's not a joke. Joking as in, like, haha, isn't this a funny situation? Yeah. It's like, no, it's very real. I play video games, like, once a week during stream. Maybe twice a week in a blue moon if I feel like I can. But no, most of the time I don't. And it's just been an interesting way to do something other than artwork. Follow-up to the question about male versus female, but now onto the female. Do you think having a large boba or acting gremlin is still the norm to get attention or grow big? Okay. If I'm being 100% honest, I do think that there is, what's the best way to say this? I do think that there are certain advantages that it has. Because you're a contributing factor. Yeah, I do think it's a contributing factor because you're targeting an existing specific audience that knows what they want, right? I think that that is not unreasonable to say. There are viewers who specifically like characters with big boba. There are viewers who are specifically like characters with gremlin energy who are constantly like sugar high children, right? There's a ton of people who love a VTuber like Chibidoki because she's absolute chaos personified. There are people who like Ilara because she has the visuals that they like. It's a contributing factor, but it's not going to fully carry you, right? If you, like, Ilara is mainly doing news stuff right now, but if she was doing things like, you know, if she was on a different site posting other kinds of artwork, if you catch my drift, she'd have a very, very different audience. If Chibidoki was constantly, you know, crazy wacky, but didn't continue doing new things, just did the same thing over and over again, it would eventually get boring. So these people are constantly trying new things, constantly innovating, trying to still do what makes them happy, trying to still keep the audience that they know that the contributing factor helps with. I don't think it is a be-all, end-all. If it is, we would be seeing a lot more Twitch partners than we do. So I think that there are contributing factors to it. I do think that they can sometimes grow faster initially but it is less a matter of growing faster initially and more a matter of consistency and being able to maintain your audience. Also, Hero End and Bacon, hello, welcome in, welcome in. As many Vtubers found out with Project Melody hit the space, you have to bring something interesting to the table beyond the experience. Yeah, exactly. Project Melody's a really good example. Hello, hello, Bacon. Why are we asking math questions here? Why are we asking math questions? This is branding questions. Today is branding question day. Do you have any branding questions? Because that's all I'm answering today. I'm not answering math. Meme reference. No math allowed. Today is branding question day. We are chit-chatting about the VTuber branding stuff. If you have any branding questions, I'm happy to answer them. But, yeah, I don't think it is a, I don't think it is a full solution. I do think it is a contributing factor, though. I think that, you know, for someone like me, who's not Gremlin, does not have the big boba, does not, make any kind of R18 work, does not have, like, off-the-wall, sugar high energy, I sometimes tell myself that I'm playing on hard mode, right? Because I don't have any of those standard contributing factors with standard niches of audience, shall we say. I don't fit cleanly into any of the categories. So, yeah, I'm kind of playing on hard mode by not going in that direction. But I would rather play on hard mode, but be more comfortable as a creator, as a streamer, as an entertainer, than trying to force myself to be someone that I'm not and burn out because I feel like I'm constantly being fake and I'm constantly putting on a mask that is not who I am or makes me uncomfortable. There's so many people who think that it is an instant key to fame to go like the R18 level with VTubing, right? They'll get like the big boba model or whatever, and then they'll get really, really, really uncomfortable with the situation and the audience that they bring, and then they end up going the completely opposite direction because they don't want to attract those people anymore. They thought it would bring them fame, and congratulations, you got fame, but it's not what they wanted. It's not what they wanted. And they'll openly say, I have nothing against big boba streamers or people who go into that R18 direction. If it's for you, then that's completely fine. But it's not for me, I tried it out, I don't like it, it's not who I am, and then they find a different avenue. Alright, let me catch up here. Cute girl doing cute things is just always going to have a large potential audience. If it's just that, it's shallow. I think a lot of them end up being a flash in the pan. Yeah, true. I can understand that. Math makes Thinkerbox hurt. Starlight has Celestial debuff in a world ruled by demons. True! There are so many demon VTubers out there. And Thunderbirds. Indeed, yes. It hurts seeing an audience push an 18 agenda on a very wholesome streamer based on design. Yeah, oh my gosh. There's so many VTubers who just want to have an appearance that, like, matches their IRL, or is just something that they're comfortable with, or just something that they think is pretty, or that they want. And, yeah, rip cowgirls, exactly, yeah. So many people, like, make assumptions and push directions that are not fair with a completely safe for work VTuber who just likes the visual, just likes the design, just thinks it's pretty. And then, yeah, exactly like Tantin say, they end up having to rebrand because people can't control their audience reactions. Blackjack fan, hello, welcome in, nice to see you. Such a shame, it hurts my heart. I'm sorry, Tantan. It's annoying. Yeah, it's so annoying, right? I know that, like, different animal species, even if you are the most tame, covered up, perfectly, like, safe for work streamer, different animal species create different, different jokes in the communities, and it's frustrating. It's sad. I wish that wasn't a thing, right? I know that cow VTubers have that issue. I know that, I know fox VTubers have that issue, believe it or not. Kitsune have their own lore in different directions. I know a lot of, like, equines have that issue, or ungulates, so, you know, deer, goat, etc. There's different there's different species that make people make different jokes. Dragons, yeah. No, dragons definitely have a hard time, not helped by some of the R18 brands out there. Saw someone go through exactly what you just described. Hilariously, her audience grew when she pivoted back to less 18 and up content. You know, it's kind of interesting. I actually really... Okay, I don't want to say that I like it necessarily, because, like, I don't want them to have to go through all of this. But I'm just gonna say like for ease of words. I like it when a VTuber grows more when they stop doing the 18 and up content. Not because it's like, oh, that's better, or that's more pure, or whatever. I like it because it shows people that it's not something you have to do, or that you have to force yourself to do. It shows that there's possibility, it shows that there is ability to go in a direction that is considered not as traditionally successful. And I like when they grow more from not doing the 18 and up content, because it should give them a confidence that their true audience is not going to run away, you know? I think that that's something really important, and I'm really happy for them when that happens. A weird example, I'm friends with a streamer, used to be a skeleton PNG, all of a sudden he experimented with the Big Boba VR chat, a lot of people liked it, despite still having the obvious male voice. Well, yeah, because Bobby Niku is a completely acceptable thing in VTubing. That really doesn't matter at all. Serious question, there are a lot of VTubers with more or less the same theme, specific animals, species, etc. How do you stand out and also protect yourself from people saying you're a copycat? I love this question because, okay, I don't like to toot my own horn a lot, but this is an area where I feel like I can toot my own horn a little bit. There are many Kitsune VTubers. There are many Galaxy VTubers, there are many Celestial VTubers, there are many VTubers with wings, and there's actually a fair number of Rainbow VTubers. There is only one winged Kitsune Rainbow-themed VTuber. It's very specific. It's very, very specific because I have 3 elements instead of 1. That is the thing that I think is what people need when it comes to VTuber branding. They always try to pick 1 or 2 themes, and in VTubing these days, you really need 3. You need 3. They don't always have to be as obvious as each other, but if you have 3, you're pretty safe, right? And you don't necessarily have to. I'm just saying, if you really want to protect yourself, if you're gonna be a C-tuber, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to work 10 times harder to find an angle if you don't want to be copied, if you don't want to be considered a Shy Lily copy. Just being the Fox Girls mega common. Exactly. If you don't want to be considered a Shy Lily copy, you should not have the bikini outfit with the skirt. You should not have the floppy ears with the bikini outfit and the skirt, and you should not have the choker with the floppy ears with the long hair with the bikini outfit with the skirt. That's the main thing. The main thing is the number of combinations. Yes, there are people who are going to be ridiculous. Someone will be a sea turtle, and they'll be compared to Shy Lily. Those aren't legitimate. You don't have to listen to those. But when you're afraid of being copied by somebody else, you have to make sure that you are doing so many things that are just steps and steps and steps and steps away from other people. I see so many people, and again, I keep using Shy Lily as an example because it's the clearest example we've had in VTubing, right? I see all these people, and they'll say, like, I'm getting compared to Shy Lily, this isn't fair, I don't like this, people are mean, blah 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 blah. I go look at the avatar, they're an orca puppy, that has the floppy ears, that has the skirt with the bikini top, that has the collar, that has the fluffy orca tail, and they say, but I'm not an orca cat, I'm an orca puppy, so I'm not copying Shy Lily, why is everyone getting so mad at me? And it's like, my dude, because you're 99% of the way there! That is the biggest thing that I feel when it comes to people talking about not wanting to copy other VTubers. You've got to find multiple directions away from the person that you're afraid of being copied. My time as a robot cat shrimp is near. I heard people are being compared to Iron Mouse or Gargura. A lot of the Iron Mouse ones that I see are not as legitimate, because I see a lot of people compare a VTuber with horns that has a black and pink color scheme. That's common enough where Iron Mouse doesn't own that. But if you're going to be a VTuber with horns, a black and pink color scheme, and your hair has a purple stripe in it, and you're wearing a rocker outfit, and you have a friend who's also a little purple demon, now I'm raising my eyebrows. You see how it works? There's levels to these things. There's actually a thing in copyright law. It's the 80-20, it's the, what is it? 30-30-30 rule. You have to change things, or no, is it 20% rule? I forget exactly what the number is. There's a basic rule that they use to determine things in copyright law, and it's essentially like, is the size changed 20%? Is the color changed 20%? Is the motif changed 20%? Is this confused by other people for a different brand? And is it in the same product line? Right? That's kind of the main thing that they use in copyright law. So if you have something that's like a Burberry handbag, right? With that, for those of you who don't know, it's like it's a plaid pattern. It's very well known for its plaid pattern. So if you've got a handbag with the same type of handles with a plaid pattern, but your plaid pattern is blue instead of brown, Burberry is still going to come after you, because every single thing is the same, and you're like, no, but my pattern is blue and theirs is brown. That's not good enough. You have to change the size, the shape, the silhouette, the color, the name, the brand, and you cannot get your audience confused about who's who. That's how you avoid this. Yeah, 20% rule. Thank you. Thank you, Celtic Alchemist. Alright. I have to say, having decent communication and social skills is so huge. You're still a streamer at the end of the day. The actual person behind the model is what keeps me engaged and coming back. Yeah, true. Also, thank you, Charming Falcon. I appreciate that. I think part is that normies only recognize Iron Mouse and Gura. Yeah, because it's gonna be the most, popular in the space. So I get that. If you, like... I mean, you know what the perfect example of that is? How many people look at any Pokemon, whether it's Jigglypuff or Squirtle or Charmander, and goes, is that a Pikachu? That's the equivalent. That's what they're doing. Everything's Iron Mouse and Gargura, because they don't know any other VTubers. So Charizard is Pikachu. There's some Tengu VTubers admittedly. There are very few that are like a bird monster Tengu, and Thorn agrees it's a good design. Well, there you go. The ultimate solution is really don't be another Orca VTuber like Shy Lily. I know it's not great either. From what I'm seeing, that seems like the best solution if you don't want to be accused. You probably could be an Orca. You would just have to change it a lot more to not look like Shy Lily. Like, silhouette is a huge thing. When this whole thing about the Shy Lily copycats was, like, really, really heated at the time, a lot of people pointed to silhouette. If you can change silhouette heavily, then you're okay. Because, you know, Sakamata Chloe, or not, was it Chloe? Yeah, Sakamata Chloe, previous girl in Hololive, who's since graduated, she was an Orca. No one ever compared her to Shy Lily, because she's a completely different design, completely different silhouette, completely different color scheme. No one would confuse the two. Reject Orca, embrace Sawfish, there you go. 30-30-40, only time I've heard is for fitness. Okay, it's probably 20-20-20 then. Times 5 or whatever. Robot Orca, there you go. Vicari, hello, welcome in. There might be an obscure species of Orca people could probably take inspiration from. Yeah, it's less the animal species and more about how you approach the species, right? Because if you're like, oh, I'm not an Orca, I'm a beluga whale, but you still look exactly like Shy Lily, it doesn't matter. Just here to lurk? Alright, Vicari, thank you. My method is just adding robot to everything. I mean, it does add another element. Option 2 is to get properly weird with, let's say, writhing mass of shadows bound to a shattered porcelain mask. I mean, yeah, that is a thing you could do. Although, be careful, because I think there's you know, the annoying thing is when you have something that's really, really original, and then something comes out afterwards, And it's like, you know that you're too small to have had that large company seen something and taking it from you, but then you're seen as the copycat even though you came first. I definitely don't like that, because Blank is describing a writhing mass of shadows bound to a shattered porcelain mask. And if it ended there, he continues by saying, a formless mass of eyes, arms, and mouths, which then makes it unique. But if he had just stopped at a writhing mass of shadows bound to a shattered porcelain mask, then I would start thinking about that character from Fortnite, right? I think there was some character that had a white porcelain mask that is, like, overcome with writhing shadows. And it's like, Blank probably came first, right? Blank probably came first. And then a large company has the exact same idea. That's always a frustrating situation. But then Blank continues and adds a formless mass of eyes, arms, and mouths. Now there is an idea of what the shadows look like and the direction the shadows go. Now it's Blank's idea. Now it's not as similar to the Fortnite character, right? So if Disney decides to create some movie featuring a blue fox with a galaxy tail or something, right? Probably not gonna have wings. Probably not gonna have rainbows. I'm still safe. So if you keep adding things that make you more and more and more unique, people can get really, really, really close to you, but it's very unlikely. The further you go, the more unlikely it is that you're going to have a true copycat. And if you have a true copycat, here's the kicker. If you have a true copycat, and then you can point out multiple things, like Shy Lily can, people are going to be more on your side, because you have proof, you have evidence. If you say, oh, this person's copying me, they're also a blue fox, no one's going to care. If you say this person's copying me, they're also a blue fox, with wings, with a rainbow necklace, and prismatic ears, now I have a case. See how that works? I'm picturing two other characters related to Fortnite. Yeah, you gotta keep adding to it, that's the thing. On the topic, there's so many ways to do a fox VTuber? Absolutely, yeah. Daigo makes cursed masks, but is a normal dude otherwise. Yeah, I was really thinking of, like, what the mask itself looked like. No bunks or bombs today? I'm saving ammunition for the event. Alright, Charming Falcon, sounds good. Robot Fox? I mean, I have talked about liking the Zoids design before. It's always frustrating until you realize that both you and the popular thing just unwittingly copied a third, much older thing. Ah, that's true, yeah. It could be that you guys were both inspired by some yokai lore, right? Like again, I work a lot with rainbows and auroras, right? I've got, like, the aurora on my capelet. So, I'm an aurora-based fox, I'm a rainbow-based fox. I'm very much tied to, like, the natural elements. If there was some movie that had, like, another aurora-based fox, I can't be angry, because auroras and foxes are actually very connected. In Finland, there is the myth of Revontulet, which is foxfire. Foxes are considered connected to the aurora. The tail brushes up the snow and creates the aurora. So if I'm an aurora-based fox and there's another aurora-based fox, I can't get mad because it's straight-up mythology. Zero says, I think we talked about this before. While everyone should be more unique, even if you're another cat VTuber, let's say someone like me, I'm only Ultraman-like VTuber and I want to stay that way. You might say that you want to stay that way, but you're going to have other things, because as VTubing gets bigger, your chance of standing out is going to get smaller, right? Like, eventually there's probably going to be another Ultraman-themed VTuber. In the same way that in the beginning of VTubing, I was one of the only furries. For those of you who don't know, before I had this humanoid form, I had a purely anthro form. I was one of the first anthro VTubers. And now there's thousands. So it's like, you can find the thing that makes you unique, but as VTubing gets more popular, it's going to be harder and harder, which is why if you keep adding elements, you're essentially safeguarding yourself. Instead of having a sleek, noble Japanese design for the Tengu character, I'll go with a rustic tribal clothing design. Yeah, exactly. That's more of like a subverting expectation type of deal. What if the Ultraman designed VTuber became popular? Should I be happy or worried? No, because if you have enough other things that make you unique, then you can ride above it, right? I'm not gonna name names, but some of you might already know because the person's a lot bigger than me. There is a very well-known VTuber who, whose tagline is the Starlight Fox. And unfortunately, that kind of means that a lot of my SEO is very, very weak, right? Because my name is a common noun. So there is there's a VTuber called the Starlight Fox, and every time you type in Starlight Fox VTuber, I don't come up as easily as they do because they're a lot larger. So am I going to change my name because of it? No. But even though they're a lot more bigger and a lot more successful, I'm always going to say, okay, you know what? They might have the SEO, they might be a little bit easier to find, they might have a lot larger community, however, they don't have wings, and they're not prismatic themed, and they don't do art that involves granting wishes. There's still parts of me that are unique to me. And then I'll find another VTuber, and their tagline will be the Rainbow Fox, and then I'll freak out a little bit, and I'll go, it's okay. They don't have wings, they don't draw, and they are not themed with something galaxy-based. They have more like, you know, Crayola rainbow. So, okay, that's okay. And then I just go through that. Every time I see one of these people who's really, really similar to me and getting really, really close, I go, okay, but they don't have this, they don't have this, and they don't have this. I've still got it. I'm still my own person. I'm still my own fox. I'm still safe. It's tricky that way. But that's why I think that it's really important to keep adding things. Because if you just wanted to brand yourself as the Orca VTuber, that's not gonna help. Then you try the Orca Cat VTuber, and then everyone goes, well, I want to be Orca Cat too, and you can't copyright a species because it's not yours, it's just two real animals, so I'm gonna combine them, and I'm gonna use the species that you came up with, and that's okay because you can't own that. And then it's like, okay. Then it's the Orca Cat VTuber with the floppy ears, the long hair, the bikini top, and the schoolgirl outfit skirt. You just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep going. Blank says, I was extremely frustrated that we're just gonna assume the world building project was copied from Arcane, and I realized, oh, we both just copied Dishonored. Yeah, exactly. In the case of my personal design, I somewhat recently came to the crushing realization I'm basically Pride from FMA Brotherhood with extra steps. Oh no! That's like a great way to describe yourself, but I'm sorry. I feel like the Celestial aspect really makes it unlikely anyone will get exactly your theme. Celestial is a lot rarer than foxes and rainbows. You'd be surprised, actually, Charming Falcon, because Celestial and foxes go hand in hand because of Kitsune mythology. Tenko Kitsune are literally called Celestial Foxes. That is actually the translation, right? Tenko, heavens. Celestial Fox. So a celestial theme with a fox is actually a lot more common than you'd think. One of the biggest clothing and aesthetic inspiration for the character is Thornscale's old model. I really like the tribal rustic aesthetic. That's interesting. Blank, hello, welcome in, and Azure Mage, hello, I see that you're new here. My name is Starlight, I'm a prismatic kitsune. We're talking about VTuber branding. If you have any questions on branding, I'm happy to answer. Nice to meet you. Yeah, no, Celestial Fox is actually extremely common. Actually, when it comes to VTubers, I would say that more often than not, they have the Celestial moniker tied to them. I would say more often than not, a Fox VTuber is going to call themselves Celestial. Because foxes and the heavens and the spirits, it's all very, very, very connected. Granted, my Celestial is different from their Celestial, right? A lot of Celestial Fox VTubers, because of mythology, they tend to go for more of the Shinto direction. So a lot of them have more motifs of, like, you know, traditional Japanese kimono and torii gate and and Inari, and my side of the Celestial is a little bit different. I have a little bit more of a European angle. I have a little bit more of like the witchy vibe, the crystals and the wands, right? That's not as tied to Shintoism. A little bit, because Shinto and magic are also very, very interconnected. But there's different angles and things. Or like my outfit, right? My outfit's very, very much not traditional Japanese priest looking. It would be nice to have a kimono outfit someday, or at least a yukata, but I don't see myself as a standard Shinto fox because I don't serve Inari. And that's the main thing, right? Kitsune, in Shinto mythology, serve the rice goddess Inari. I don't serve a goddess. I fell from the Celestial. So my direction is a little bit different than a lot of other fox VTubers. We don't have a lot of fox lore in Irish culture, even though we do have them. We have snakes, but no foxes. I'm actually surprised, because foxes do seem to have a lot of lore in various European countries. What did Torigate get translated into Birdgate, since Tori is Japanese for bird? No, yeah, Zero's different, it's different. No, it's also spelled differently, so... Your fantasy and not Japanese themed. Exactly. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable because I know that I am not Japanese. I don't pretend to be. I have a whole reason why I have the last name Akari, right? I've got like a whole lore behind that, but I don't pretend to be Japanese. And I just feel more comfortable having sort of my own direction. So I don't serve Inari. I do have a Torigate. But that's pretty much as far as it goes. There's sort of a Torii gate leading up to the atelier, because Torii gates are a very good barrier and protection between the mortal and the spirit, right? So I do have a Torii gate, and that's kind of as far as I go. But I'm a fox spirit. I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand. And, you know, Torii gates come in all different sizes and motifs and directions and everything. And it's not a standard red one either. It's crystalline. So it has a little bit of its own direction. Starlight's not Japanese, cancel her. Never pretended to be, never told anyone I was. Atsuki, hello, welcome in. It's nice to see you. Hello, I see you're new to IRIAM. Welcome to IRIAM, I hope you're having a good time so far. Foxlore, one of your favorite albums? That wouldn't surprise me if that's the name of an album. Japanese has a ton of home phones due to a rather small amount of phone... I can't pronounce things. That's why kanji is critical, because it's pictorial and not phonetic. Ah, I see, that makes sense, yeah. But yeah, I try to not step on things that I am not fully part of. I can borrow a little bit, but I don't try to, like, take over the thing, you know what I mean? I'm not Japanese, so I don't really, try to lean towards the traditional deflection of the Tengu, and go for the more fantastical, feral direction with the little horror. I see. TLDR, not a bird gate. There you go. I do have a little bit of bird in me, but not enough to change the gate's name. It's one of those weird misconceptions from St. Patrick. A lot of people think the snakes he drove out was an allegory for pagans. Aye! That's so frustrating. Until the turn of the last century, they didn't think that. They just thought there used to be snakes based on myth, and then they didn't because of St. Patrick. Interesting. Yeah, I thought they were physical snakes, too. I didn't think it was an allegory. I thought it was just actual snakes. Only crow. It's not even crow, but that's kind of what everyone thinks at this point. Exactly what Vesta said, listen to someone who has a degree in language study. Yeah, exactly. Atsuki, thank you for the star. Thank you guys so much for sending stars. I appreciate it. This is, we don't have a star event right now, but next time I'm streaming on Wednesday, there is going to be a star event, and it's going to be cumulative, so all of the other founding streamers who are participating in this event, we're all going to work together to really increase the star event, and then there might be, like, little gifts and things that anyone can use based on how many stars that we all cumulatively reach. So it's like a fun way to just have, like, a community activity, which I really like. We don't get to do a lot of those. Another lore to differentiate from the other Tengu, as we do bone break and divination. If it breaks into one piece, means good luck. And if it stems from their instinct to get into the bone marrow. Interesting, interesting. Hang on, I'm just gonna grab a drink here so I'm not dying too much. There's a lot of Irish pagan merch that has a tagline that's like, I'm a snake St. Patrick didn't drive out. What? What? That's crazy. For someone who's still small but been streaming for years, when is the time to get your own mascot? I think the best time to get your own mascot is when you can do something with it. In my opinion. I shall set up the start tapping macro. You can't do that. There are people who do that and it's not allowed. Please do not. We cannot encourage that at all. I know you're joking. But I have to put that out there. Sounds like the modern pig movement. It really does. I'm not going to get into that, but I really do not associate with a modern pagan movement. I just want to do my own thing. I don't like this idea of this, like, better or worse or blah blah blah. It's like, no, I just respect the elements, man. I just respect the sun, the moon, and obviously the stars, and the natural elements, and I don't need this whole, like, angry... this whole, like, angry better than you attitude. I think the snake story is hilarious because they essentially said he drove the snakes out, and when people asked what snakes, the church said exactly. What the heck? How do you manage intellectual property rights for your VTuber character and content? That is a really interesting question, Mon. So unfortunately, I wish I had a better answer for that, but I don't. Because I've looked into this, of course, and there's really only two directions, and a lot of them have a lot of misconceptions, so I can go over that. So, when it comes to intellectual property, there's two options. There's copyright, and there's trademark. They have different ways of working, and they have different expenses. Copyright is something that some people say is like an automatic thing, that the minute you make something, it's automatically copywritten, blah 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 blah, because it's published, right? But if you wanted to actually, you know, set that in stone, then you'd have to pay, I think it's $30 per piece to a copyright office to mark that thing as being your thing. However, when it comes to characters, there's a problem here. Because let's say I copyright my reference sheet. I pay $30, I give it to the copyright office, I say, you know, I want to have this, like, formally stamped or whatever, and no, you can't do the thing where you print it out and mail it back to yourself. That doesn't work. That's a weird loophole. It doesn't make sense. So I pay the $30, right? And then it's like, okay, good, that piece is now copywritten. Two problems. The only thing that's copywritten is not me, it's the physical reference sheet. It is that image. It is the JPEG of the reference sheet. So now I draw myself in an illustration, that's not copywritten. I make a plush, that's not copywritten. I have a keychain, that's not copywritten. The only thing that got copywritten was the PNG reference sheet. Second problem. It goes by country. It goes by jurisdiction, right? So let's say, okay, you got copyright for the US. Now a company in China tries to sell your reference sheet. Well, it's not copywritten in China, and chances are the shop there is not going to care that you have a copyright for America. So you can't do anything about that. So what's the purpose of a copyright then? It's for a physical concept, physical idea that is still within the country. So, for example, if you design a logo and you copyright that logo, and then somebody takes that logo and then tries to use it as a logo for their restaurant, then you can attack them. Then you can say that this is copywritten. But if that logo is being used, let's say, in Ireland, now you're gonna have a much harder time. So it's like, is it really worth it? It's really worth it if you're trying to stop, like, people in your own country from copying your own work. Second option, trademark. This is the thing that Disney uses. This is where you can actually have, like, a character. This is where you can have a logo. This is where it's, like, the overall encompassing thing, right? The trademark of Mickey Mouse. What's Disney doing lately when it comes to the trademark of Mickey Mouse? What happened to Steamboat Willie? Trademarks expire. Trademarks expire and you have to renew them every single year. And it's not feasible for an individual. It's very expensive. Copyright, $30. Trademark, a few thousand. And you have to do that yearly. So, it's not worth it for most indies. And then when it comes to general copyright, right? The whole thing with Steamboat Willie being copywritten and then everyone waiting for it to expire is the whole, 70 years after death thing. So you've got two different directions, and unfortunately, as sad as this is to say, neither one is good for a small indie VTuber. So I'm sorry that it's not a good answer, but I have looked into this and I have done the research, and there's just not a good way around it. I'm sorry to say, but I have looked into this. I could try to copyright the model art. That would probably protect me more than other things. But again, if it's outside the US, I'm still sunk. So, unfortunately, you're gonna keep fighting things. And there's not really a good solution, and I have looked into the intellectual property. Alright, let me catch up on chat real quick. Birds do this in the wild. They drop bones from tall heights to get the bone marrow. Figured it could be a great way to fortune tell. Breaks into tiny pieces, meaning bad luck. Breaks clean, good luck. I mean, you could. You just have to be careful, because that's, like, an actual thing that people do in fortune telling, so you just want to make sure that you're being respectful. Doesn't make sense. There's historical evidence of families and clans never converted, mine included. There you go. I know one VTuber named Siri made an IP right or trademark over the belly button toggle for the model, which makes her the only belly dancing VTuber out there. Probably not a trademark, because, again, that would be a few $1,000s. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'd be surprised if it was a real trademark. Copyright's really dicey? Not useless, but very limited. Now, patenting, that's useless. Tarar, hello, welcome in, welcome in. St. Patrick's was never canonized, so according to the Catholic Church, he's not a saint. Interesting. I can see how the belly dancing VTuber would do great, making content with VR chat and full body tracking. Yeah, the issue is you can't stream it on Twitch. Aren't you also forced to fight for trademarks, even if you're fine with it, or the courts can revoke it later? You basically have to stop fan art. Ah, yes, yes. Vesla brings up a very, very, very good point that I forgot. Yes, you are forced to fight for your trademark. Even if you want to let it go, even if you say, hey guys, no, it's okay, I know this guy, you're there was some situation where this happened recently. It might have been Pokemon, I can't remember now. There's some situation where if you want to protect trademark and someone infringes on your trademark and you want to make an exception for them, you can't make an exception. You have to fight for your trademark. It's like, it's required by law. I don't remember the exact details on that, but Vesa is very correct on that. You have to fight your trademark. So yeah, you have to stop fan art. You have to stop, like, fan production. If someone wanted to make a plush, it's really dicey. The legal system is really, really dicey. Not even true. Akiro's belly dances too. Yeah, I can't imagine that you'd have an actual trademark, because it's not cheap and it's a yearly renewal. Also, how would you trademark a belly dancing? I mean, it goes back to what we were saying, right? It has to be something that has to be different, not replicated, can't be confused, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know if you'd be able to copyright a movement? Like not like a political movement, like a physical movement. A physical movement the body can make? I don't really know how you could do that. The only thing I could think is that maybe the artist that worked with her said, I won't do it again, I'm only going to do it for her, but I don't really think it's gonna hold up in court to, copyright movement? Fortnite dance lawsuit? I don't know. Is that a thing? Aren't most of those dances based on existing dances? I don't really know how it works. Alright, Charming Falcon, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Could be wrong, might be using the wrong word about VTuber trademarking the belly dance. It's probably not trademarking. That would be really, really intense. A lot of people do seem to throw around the word trademark a lot, without actually knowing what a trademark is. It just has, like, a well-known word, so they all use the word trademark. There's a company that tried to trademark the word orc and space marine. It went about as well as you'd expect. Well, didn't, oh, what was her name? Somebody tried to trademark the word kimono, and that went about as well as you'd expect, too. There's, like, I have a friend who does, like, baby clothes design stuff, right? And, Gerber trademarked the word onesie. Onesie. Like, if you know what a kigurumi is, like the pajama, that's also technically a onesie. It just means, like, a one-piece jumpsuit thing. So, you can't sell a kigurumi on Etsy and call it a onesie because Gerber uses it for their baby clothing. A lot of the dances are memes or from old TV shows, like the Carlton from Fresh Prince. Ah, I see. So, yeah, if it's, like, from a meme, right? If it's, like, just from somebody's random TikTok, that would be weird. That would be like, okay, this random TikTok blew up, and now Fortnite is using this dance, and you're getting no royalties from it. Ah, yeah, that would be rough. Blank says, the more time passes, the less I am in favor of stringent IP protection. It never ends up helping small artists, just massive corps holding ideas and IPs like, dragons without ever using them. What do you mean, dragons? Speaking of orcs, I'll never stop being salty about WD patenting the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor. I don't know enough about those things, so... Eh? I froze? Did I? I'm okay on the YouTube end. We're fine on the YouTube end, and nothing is appearing on the IRIAM end. Are we good? Froze on IRIAM, working on YouTube. What the heck, IRIAM? Oh. Okay. I guess I have to restart. I don't like restarting, but I guess I have to restart. This is so irritating. Alright. I'm going to hide the screen real quick. Yeah, okay. Is it still frozen? I'm guessing, because no one's saying anything. Okay. I will hide it on the YouTube end and see if I can reset on the IRIAM end. This is stupid. I don't even have any indication of it. Oh, okay. Try this again. IRIAM, why do you do this to me? Pause, interrupt. That didn't change anything, did it? All I did was close it and open it again, but I didn't refresh it. Did that change anything? No? Okay. I'll try actually closing it. I was hoping I could do it quickly, but I guess not. Alright. Whole app is refreshing now. Loading. It's just the blue screen right now. It's easier for me to type here while doing text stuff. I'm glad you're here, because otherwise I wouldn't know. Alright. Testing. Yes, I know it's been interrupted. Resume, please. Please, resume. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Are we alive? We're back? Okay. Good to know. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey. Alright. I don't know why it did that, but thank you, Vessa. Thank you for telling me, because I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't know what to fix. So I'm really glad that I'm also on the... you know what's crazy? Is, like, if I wasn't multi-streaming, because a lot of other people on IRIAM do not multi-stream, if I wasn't multi-streaming, I wouldn't have any way of knowing if something was not working in one place but working in another. So, the multi-stream has multiple purposes for being here. IRIAM's a totally functional app with 0 issues. I mean, we are in beta, technically, right? We are in beta. Magic Wi-Fi, Lucinari kind of wacky sometimes. It is the Thunderbird. I do very much blame the Thunderbird for all of this. Zapdos strikes more often than I would like. I don't know why. It's getting annoying. It's getting a little bit old. But I don't think Zapdos cares, so... What were we talking about? You guys are gonna have to get me back on track. I feel like this keeps happening around the hour-and-a-half mark. Really? Interesting. I'm curious about that. I'm wondering... I'm wondering if there's any truth to that. You could be right. I feel like 2 hours is not that long to be streaming, but maybe it is for IRIAM? I don't know. I mean, 2 hours on YouTube, on Twitch, clearly isn't enough, because I'm constantly, like, not constantly, but people have openly been like, oh, this isn't long enough for me to join. I don't want to watch your streaming, because you're gonna be ending soon. And I'm like, 2 hours? I think 2 hours is pretty legitimate. Ask other FS if this happens to them too. I know that other FS have had, various glitches, but it seems like they're all a little bit different from person to person. We're talking about chaining Zapdos in the basement and using him to power the incinerator. What the heck, Lillian? Why do you have an incinerator? Also, that literally just reminds me of the 2000 movie, where they actually do just chain up Zapdos. We have to get rid of the garbage somehow. Why does Lillian still have the newbie badge? Probably because Lillian, because the newbie badge is based on a bunch of existing criteria, such as, like, being in multiple streams for multiple times. So, if you haven't visited other streams for a set amount of times, then you'll probably still have the newbie badge. Blank says, been reminded of a joke. In the Warhammer Fantasy, dwarves are called Doll? I'll really have to call him that to not get sued by the Tolkien estate. Jeez. You don't have to be in multiple streams? That's one of the ways I was able to not be in a newbie anymore. Oh. I could have sworn that that's how it worked, but I don't know. If you click on the newbie icon, then it should tell you, like, what you still need to do. But yeah. I have the newbie badge because it's good for me since I'm Newbie Reaper. So I picked a random mission and never complete. I can keep my little sticker. I actually really love that. I kind of adore that. That's great. I really like that. I wish that... Wait, can you have... I feel like your name could have an emoji if you wanted, but it probably wouldn't be as big as the badge, because I think the emojis appear on the names, like, really, really, really tiny. Visual storytelling, exactly. We're gonna have to make sure that you never fulfill that one random mission. That's really cool. I really like that take on it, actually. That's a really great take. But yeah, that's funny. Does anybody else have any branding-based questions? I know we've gotten a lot of different directions today. So I want to make sure that I've covered anyone's questions, if they have any, if they haven't gotten a chance to speak up. Let me check the Twitter side real quick, because I know that people were sometimes saying that they might say stuff on the Twitter end. Probably not, but just checking. No, I don't think so. Want to make sure I haven't missed anything. I know it's not as easy to type on mobile. I do apologize if that is throwing some people off. I don't think so. I think we're good on this end. But yeah, if anyone has any other branding questions I can answer. I do like, talking about the motifs and things. I think that's a really big part of branding, is having the multiple motifs to stand out. So I know Vesa sometimes jokes about, like, the cat robot shrimp thing, but genuinely that genuinely that would actually be a very, very safe bet. I don't know what that is, Pokemon. And hello on the YouTube end. I don't know what that is. I know you mentioned it before. Are there any additional alternative mediums to express my OC? So, the ones that I know of when it comes to, like, the visual artist side, right? I think you have to think about, like, in what way you want to visually express your OC, because there's different directions, right? There's two directions that I have seen when it comes to promoting your OCs. And it sort of depends on, like, how heavy your lore is and how heavy your storytelling is. Because there's... Alright, I'm trying to sort of, like, get this in my head real quick, so hang on. Okay. The best way I can describe this is that I have a direction that is typical of people with humanoid OCs. And Prism has a direction typical of people with cute OCs. And here's the difference. The people with the humanoid OCs are going to do more with the storytelling, with the character interaction, maybe with comics, the Tumblr Ask blog, the roleplay, that whole thing. Cute OCs are going to be more based on merchandise. So there are people who have OCs that are really mainly for physical products. These are people who do artist alleys. These are people who make, like, there's a girl that makes an OC called Moss Mouth. Very, very... Moss Mouth? Mouse Moth. Mouse Moth. And it's gotten so popular that it now has its own children's book. There's people who make, like, you know, Strawberry Dino stuff. There's, what's another really popular one? Any of those clothing brands. Any of the, like, Newbie Reaper, congrats on the star. You can get a Whooper wallpaper if you're in the Discord. I will remember to give you the role after stream. Who else? Neon Cat. Neon Cat is a brand. Why is everyone on YouTube talking about eating? I'm so confused. What's another clothing brand? Banana Cat. I think that was started as a comic. But, basically, there's two different directions to go with the OCs. You can have something more intense with character development, so those are things like, yeah, visual novels, comics, web comics, fanfic writing, ask blogs, illustrations, that kind of thing. And then you've got the merch side for generally the cuter characters, so your stickers, your keychains, your plush, your t-shirts, that kind of direction. Yes, you can combine them. Someone like Omocat, right, has, like, a video game that definitely has its own apparel line, and it's all, like, based with characters and OCs and everything. But generally, I see the two different directions. I see the webcomic, the writing, and the Tumblr Ask blog type of deal. And then I see the merch, the plushies, and the stationery type of deal. So that would be more like Prism's side, for instance, and then I'd probably be on more the side of, like, the Tumblr Ask blogs and the webcomics. So those are sort of the two different audiences, the two different directions that you can tap into, essentially. So, Talon, if I'm being honest, your design of this creature, of this, like, of the bird Tengu, right? You have a world built up, but you don't have other characters. You don't have a huge plotline overarching story, as far as I know. You don't have something where, like, this character has to save a loved one or stop this demon or whatever. You kind of just have, like, this more general idea of the character and the world. You actually lean more on the Prism side. You actually are more on the side of, this might be better as stickers, this might be better as merch, this might be better as t-shirt designs. Because if you don't have, like, an overarching storyline, then you would probably be more on the side of the product. Got a star because I'm a good noodle. There you go. Blank says, I think the cohesion of your concepts is still an important thing to keep in mind. There's a reason people can usually tell the difference between a character and an OC. I'm actually curious about that, Blank. Can you expand on that a bit more? Character versus OC? Because I think that an OC is a character that you just have more connection with? But tell me about that. I'll help by liking and subscribing. Dika, just subscribe only if you want to. I don't want to force you or anything. Wait, why do you have multiple accounts? Even though I don't know what you're talking about? You don't have to subscribe just to just to help support me. Just subscribe if you like the content. It's actually not great in terms of the YouTube algorithm to subscribe if you don't watch the content. So don't subscribe if you don't actually want to join. If that makes sense. Just subscribe if you want to see more of what I'm doing, but don't worry about the support side. I appreciate the consideration, though. Did you hear about the Texas Senate. I don't know about that, Necozilla. I'm not gonna touch that though. Dika, please stop making accounts. Please stop making multiple YouTube accounts. It's really not good. If you subscribe on all those, it's actually really not good for me. It actually is gonna hurt more than help. What about an immersive sim where people could explore your character and the environment, almost like a light novel, more interactive like from an RPG Maker game, but not really a game? That is a sentence. An immersive sim, okay. People could explore the character and the environment like a light novel, more interactive, like an RPG Maker game, but not really a game. So, like a visual novel game? That basically just sounds like a visual novel game. So then you're going into the comic direction. If you're doing something like a visual novel game, this is like... Vessa, I'm sorry. Can you help me on the YouTube end real quick? If you're doing a visual novel game or any sort of like large video game project or comic or anything, that is in the other direction. Dika, you really do not need to be subscribing if you don't want to watch the content. The multiple accounts really do not help. Also, Eve, hello. Welcome in. How are you doing, Eve? I'm sorry, I'm like, my head is in a million different directions right now. How are you doing, Eve? Welcome in. Happy Monday. Entirely off topic? How did I get the Aurora on my sleeves to be animated? I'm actually my own rigger. I am my own self-incarnated artist and rigger, so the sleeves are on their own separate movement. So if I stand still here, then they're just kind of going to move and sway naturally. The thing I mean is that there's definitely a trend of people being so focused on making the OC cool and unique, where they often feel more like an action figure than a character. Therefore, you can tell when a character is a character or author's OC. Ah, I see. So basically, the Yu-Gi-Oh thing, right? Like you can tell Yugi is the main character because of his hair. That kind of deal? If you could start over, what is the thing you wish you knew about before VTuber branding? Ooh, interesting. So, my case is a little bit interesting because I sort of had my form in some direction before being a VTuber, right? On the furry side of things. I already sort of had my look, and this is sort of just the demi-human version of it. So, what I wish I knew before VTuber branding. If I had to start over. I'm actually not sure if I can come up with a good answer for that, because... I feel like I'm doing all I can right now on the branding side. And the thing that would, you know, quote-unquote make me blow up is following one of those, like, niches that we talked about before that I wouldn't really want to be in. I really don't know what I would do differently. That is a really good question, and I'm not really sure how to answer it, because... I guess I don't really know what my next direction has to be. I'm trying to think about that right now. If I were to start over, I don't think I have a good answer for that. I don't know. What about you guys? Like, if you could start over, what would you tell yourselves? Because I really don't think I know which direction I'm going in. I feel like I'm still in the exploration stage. I think... I don't really know what I would do when I would start over VTuber branding, per se. But, at least on the art side, I think I would probably have stuck to one niche and not moved around so much. Because I went from, like, you know, anime to furry, back to anime, and it's like, if I had just stuck with anime, then I would probably be at a higher skill level than I am now, but I wouldn't have as much variety going on, you know? I wouldn't be able to... I'd probably end up being one of those artists that say they can't draw guys and can't draw animals, but they'd be really, really popular because they draw really pretty girls. That's probably where I'd be. Like the difference between a character as a trope checklist and a character as a narrative participant. Ah, interesting. If I could start over, I'd tell myself to embrace the weirdness much sooner. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I probably... If I could have started over in terms of branding, I probably wouldn't have tried to put on as many debuts as I did, quote-unquote, because I tried to do the Hololive direction in the beginning. I tried to do, like, you know, the big fancy debut when no one knew who I was. I probably would have built the audience to the level that I have now, maybe? Which is not huge by any means, but it's, like, bigger than 0. And then I probably would have done some sort of debut so that I actually had people that saw it. And granted, I didn't have a debut of 0. I did have a few people who knew me from, like, furry fandom and other things. But they weren't really, like, there for me as a VTuber, you know? They were just like, what is this weird thing you're doing? So I probably would have done that. I probably would have done a lot more observation. A lot of the really successful people lately, a lot of the really successful VTubers, are the ones that sit patiently like a lion looking at the movement of a zebra. And I know that sounds really dark, but it's literally the visual image that I always have in my head when I think about this. They are sitting, they are lying in wait, they are seeing what is going to happen. They are seeing as things change. They are seeing, like, you know, for lack of the metaphor, they are seeing what the zebra is looking at, how the zebra is acting, what the zebra is walking around, eating, whatever. They observe that entire path. They get to know every part of it, and then they pounce. And I think that is what I probably would have done. Because I just went out, you know, guns blazing. I was the lion that ran after the zebra and didn't try to learn any of its movements, didn't try to learn any of its patterns, and then just ended up, like, burning out and falling and the zebra gets away. In terms of this metaphor, right? The really successful VTubers are, like, these days, lately, VTubing's been around for longer that more people can lie in wait and observe and then take action. And then they're ready to go and they know exactly what they're doing. If you were early, I joined VTubing at, like, the worst possible time, in the sense of you had already gotten rid of the, you'd already lost the 2020 boom, right? And then you weren't late enough to be the observer. You just sort of tried to catch up to this boom. So you still went out guns blazing, not knowing what you were doing, and it wasn't old enough to just sit and observe. That's what my difference would have been. I would have sat and observed more. By the same token, if there are too many lions and only one zebra, then the thing is, most of the lions don't observe the zebra. Most of the lions just try to give chase. And the lion that is sticking around and paying attention to how the zebra moves and what the zebra does, they're the ones that win. Not Mass, hello, welcome in, welcome in! It's been a while, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Make sure I catch up here. Talon says, I really love your art style. It's kind of a blend of the Saturday morning cartoon coloring books and anime mixed together in a pleasant way. Huh? A blend of Saturday morning cartoon coloring books and anime mixed together in a pleasant way. I appreciate the compliment, but I have no idea what that means. I'm trying to figure out how that works. Been a while? Yeah, it has. I hope you're doing well now, Maz. I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, it's nice to see you. We're talking about VTuber branding and things, and somebody had just asked, like, you know, if I could start over, what I would do. And I think for me, a lot of it is, like, on the art side of starting over. But in terms of the VTuber side, I think I just would have been more observant. I think I just would have been, like, more watchful, you know? That's just what I've noticed. A lot of those... Okay, I think you guys have seen this on Twitter a lot. There's so many VTubers who are in pre-debut, and they never end up debuting, and they just, their name constantly just says pre-debut. And then there's the smart ones, who slowly make connections, keep building things up, keep engaging with people, getting their name out there, usually throwing out like a commission image or two of like, you know, here's my visual, here's my look, and then like maybe half a year in, they'll do like the Model Tees thing, and then a lot of them lately, you usually expect there's like the Model Tees and then the debut, right? A lot of them lately are doing the Model Tees, and then the Model Tees, and the Model Tees, and the Model Tees, and now we've got the Model Tees going on for 6 months. And they're still teasing the model. They've shown off the model at that point. You know, they do like the retweet, whatever. And they just have their visuals. And they just have the still image of the model. And they're building the hype, They'll take like an entire year, and then they'll announce their debut, and then they go in with an audience. Even if they've never streamed before. A lot of these people can do it on social media. It's kind of crazy to watch. And I did not do this because VTubing was not at a place where people were smart enough to think of this. They do the Model Tees and are streaming with the PNG tuber. Exactly, yeah. They'll do one of two things. They'll either do the Model Tees and they'll just keep it up going on social media, or they'll start streaming with the PNG, and they'll still constantly call themselves pre-debut, which kind of gets me a little bit, because that's kind of insinuating that you're not really a VTuber if you're doing PNG tubing. And I think that that's like, I personally don't like that as much, because I think you're still a VTuber if you're PNG tubing. You're still streaming, you still have the persona, and that's kind of like going against people who regularly just PNG tube, kind of saying like it's not a true VTuber, which I'm not for. I don't like it. I get it. The Live 2D elevates you. I've done both. I've done PNG tubing. I've done Live 2D. I understand the difference. But I think that you're still a VTuber. So I don't really like how people say pre-debut, because then I'll check their page and I'm like, you're not pre-debut, you're streaming. You're currently streaming right now. You're streaming a lot. You're streaming a lot with a really large audience. You're not pre-debut. I understand re-debut. I've done re-debut. But I don't think I would ever call myself pre-debut again. And I see people who say pre-debut just when they get like a 2.0 model. I don't like that either. It's like, you're not pre-debut. You're using the word pre-debut to get more attention. You know what this is the equivalent of? Because I see this a lot and it drives me absolutely crazy and actually sometimes really gets me on an emotional level. There are very, very talented people out there. There are very, very talented people at multiple levels in multiple stages of their life. There's a big trend right now of adult artists saying that they're younger than they are because they know that it's extra clout. They know that it is, they know that they can get further, that they can build up their audience faster if they say that they're really, really young. And it's like, this drives me so crazy. Because if they are young and they're really talented, then I'm jealous. And if they are not young and they're talented, then they're a liar. So it's like, it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy either way. But it's a thing, and that's kind of how I feel about pre-debut when you're not actually pre-debut. If you're already streaming and you're doing like your 3.0 model or whatever, you're not pre-debut. This is the equivalent of the adults saying that they're 14-year-old prodigy artists. You're using the word that makes you sound like more beginner because you know that more people want to support it, because you know that more people want to like lift up the newbie, right? But if you're on your 3.0, you're not a newbie, you're very experienced, and I don't think you should say that you're pre-debut. You can say re-debut, like I'm trying a new thing, I'm going for a new look or whatever, and then, you know, if you want to be really clever about it, you just straight up rebrand and then you're pre-debut, but you've got like all the connections and you know exactly what you're doing. But if you say that you're pre-debut and you have this existing giant audience and these existing models, you're doing the same thing as the people that say that they're really, really young, but are actually like 30 or 40. And it just it drives me crazy. Because the reason they do it is very intentional. It's used because people want to support the underdog. Eve, I'm fine. From fooling people to thinking they're young, there's a new level of danger of that. I'm not going in that direction. I'm saying that it's used in a way to make people bring up the underdog. Lift up the newbie, I turned my head from across the room, wondering why people wanted to pick me up physically. Sorry, Newbie Reaper, I apologize. Talon says someone could get away with that without doing, since I have not made content for many months. I'm currently working on the new Crow Tengu PNG upgrade. Yeah, but you've done... I mean, I guess, Talon, you haven't streamed, so you could still say pre-debut. You could still say that. It's crazy, but it's kind of a smart move. It is a smart move, but that makes it really annoying. Blank says, I look at VTuber designs, often find myself thinking this feels more like a bunch of interesting aspects slapped together than a character that feels like part of a story. Yeah, true. A lot of the extremely iconic characters are actually not very unique when described in one sentence. The unique comes from how the generic tropes are executed. Yeah, I agree with that. One thing that really helped me in the age aspect is to remind myself that on the timescale of average human lifespan, I'm still very near the beginning. 5 to 10 years is really not all that much. That's true. Yeah. In my case, I wanted to hurry up and stream, so I did a quick model reveal stream, then went straight into regular streaming. And that's fine. That's completely fine. That's basically what I did. That's essentially exactly what I did. That was, like, I probably chased the zebra. Yeah. I did too, right? Because the thing is, like, at the time, no one really knew any different, right? VTubing was so new, everyone was still trying to figure it out, and most people just really wanted to be like HoloLive, so they all learned the tropes, they learned, like, what's in a debut, what are the things I have to check off, what are the things I have to do, go do those, see if I can get popular, oh wait, that's over. So, it's like, yeah, excitement to use it, for sure. It takes a huge amount of discipline to be able to play that year-long social media waiting game. Like, it'll pay off. But it takes so much discipline. I don't actually think I would have been able to do it. Even if I knew it. Even if I knew that was a thing. That's how it worked. That it was like, a trick that was really useful. I don't think I would have been able to do it. Testing that willpower. I'm usually a very patient person, but a year is hard. I'm already struggling just doing commissions that I know are under NDA for a year. Oh my gosh, I would be so bad in the general entertainment industry where you have to do work for, like, a big animated movie that you know isn't coming out for half a decade. Oh, that would be so rough. That's my biggest thing. I wanted to be a VTuber for years. I didn't have the confidence till the end of last year, but very late to the game. Yeah, it's totally okay, Eve. I think that you can still succeed, but it's crazy to see, like, the different directions that people take with things, right? But I think that, here's the thing. As much as people were asking, like, what would you have done differently? What would you have changed? What would you have reevaluated? How would you have tried this differently? I do have a very strong personal belief that whatever happens, happens for a reason. You know, I was saying before, like, okay, maybe my female anime art would have been better if I hadn't drawn furries and other stuff. But I'd be one of the hundreds of other artists who would always be saying, no, I can't draw guys, no, I can't draw animals, no, I can't draw furry. So, it happened for a reason, you know? Most of my clients are guys. Most of my clients are guys, and I probably wouldn't have been able to say that in the past. Or I wouldn't have been able to make the friends I did, right? I have a lot of connections with furries who I've actually done commissions for, and we've stayed in contact ever since. Dual Thrones is an example of that. Blackpaw is an example of that. So I do really feel like everything happens for a reason. And even if it's not as directly impactful as you think it could have been if you had done things in a different direction, it's a reason it went that way. It might not be a reason that you like, but there was a reason that it happened. I feel it's not as hard as people say it is. Maybe coming up and brainstorming a bunch of content ideas and scheduling the heck out of it in social media. What do you mean it's not as hard as people say it is? Talon, I'm confused what you're saying. Brainstorm a bunch of content, schedule the heck out of it on social media. What do you mean, Talon? Last video I uploaded was a year ago. I've been working on improving them, but now I'm scared to take the step. I've had a total of 3 videos, but I wasn't happy with them. Yeah, build up the experience, exactly. Compared to someone who started in the heyday of VTubing, when you start now, you have a ton of free resources to get your feet started. Oh, that is so true. That's why my assets used to do so well, is because, I was sort of the only one doing, like, holiday-themed assets. Now everyone's doing that. But, yeah, no, Seahero's absolutely right. There's so many more resources that you can, that you have access to in VTubing, right? Live 2D Premade didn't used to be a thing. I mean, it did on the Japanese side, but not so much in terms of, like, the customization that we have now, right? It's crazy. Insert Starlight Kofi here. It is St. Patrick's Day, and I do have St. Patrick's assets. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you ever need St. Patrick's assets, I gotcha. I'm scared I'll feel like that again. It also stinks. I can't exactly say I'm new because of that. Newbie Reaper, I definitely understand where you're coming from. I mean, I know that we had, like, known each other before, and then you sort of came back to watching my content, but you know that I took a year-long hiatus for that same feeling, right? Not really being happy what I was doing, not really being satisfied, kind of wanting to throw everything out. Sometimes you just need, like, a fresh outlook on things, and I think I was saying this earlier, you might not have been here, but I was saying this earlier in stream. Fail fast is a thing that I think I was telling Talon earlier, right? Fail fast, because, I deal with this too. I'm a perfectionist, okay? That's my personality. I am very, very much a perfectionist by nature, and I don't mean the type of perfectionist where it's like, oh, I just want to do the best quality. No, I mean, like, debilitating perfectionism. I'm a bad perfectionist. That's always my go-to job interview question, because I can answer it in a different way. Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't say it was a good thing. I'm trying to explain that it's not a good thing. Didn't do St. Patty's this year. We were celebrating hitting an affiliate today. Heck yeah! Well, that's very worth celebrating, too. Congratulations, Eve, even though you gave me a bonk. Thank you for the heart. Congratulations, though! Affiliate's really, really big, so nice work. Nice job with that. But yeah, in terms of, like, failing fast, I think that, I'm going through it right now, too, because, I think that, Talon, there's literally no reason to say that. I think that when it comes to failing fast, it's something that I need to learn to do as well, and I'm sort of in the middle of struggling with that, too, because I'm working on an eventual video series. And I kind of don't really think that the series is going to go anywhere, but I'm hoping, that I will be able to do something with it that is enjoyable just for the sense of making content, right? So I keep getting, thrown off by, like, this video isn't as good as it could be. But if I want to make this into, like, a series, if I have this idea to make it into a series of videos, then yeah, the first one isn't going to be good. And I keep overthinking it, and I keep, like, not adding content to it because I'm afraid of it not being perfect. And it's just not going to be. And if I looked back at the work that I did in the beginning of my VTubing career, most of those are, like, examples I don't have on my, let's say, my VGen, right? I don't have most of those examples that I started off with. They're not good. So I understand the feeling wholeheartedly, because I absolutely go through that myself all the time. I really think that, it's something where you just gotta fail fast. And it's a really hard lesson to learn, and it's something that I need to sometimes tell myself. Sometimes, fun fact, sometimes I give you guys advice so that I'm telling it to myself. You know? Sometimes I'm, like, giving you advice, and then it's like, wow, I should practice what I preach. But I really understand where you're coming from. I really understand the feeling of, like, being afraid of messing up again, being afraid of getting back into something, being afraid that you're gonna be wasting time and it's not gonna be as good as it could be. But make it anyway. Make it anyway. It's not going to... you're going to feel weird about it after it's done, and then a year later, you're probably gonna hate it. But you're going to hate it because you're increasing your knowledge. And there's something to be said for that. You're increasing your mind's eye and understanding of quality. If you look at a piece that you did a year ago, whether it's videos, whether it's art, whether it's VTubing, whatever it is, and you hate it, that's a really good thing. Because if you hate it, then you know that something's wrong and you can see the mistakes. This is why the artists that constantly think that they're always doing great work, they're not the ones that are improving. Or what do they say? A teacher is never done learning. So if you hate what you do later, then that only means that what you're doing now is better. I feel it so much. It's exactly how it feels when I make stuff. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I want to have a community where everyone can sort of feel comfortable knowing that they're not alone in these kind of situations, you know? We all go through these frustrating, creative roadblocks, right? I don't want anyone to feel alone in that. I want people to realize that the struggles that they're having in content creation are felt by a lot of us. I'm not a good therapist. I'm not good with, like, you know, anything like that. But when it comes to content creation, I want to create a space where people feel like they can be understood by others. And I want to be vulnerable and open that I genuinely go through a lot of these same thoughts too. Talon says, I'd say technically I'm somewhat succeeding, but I'm not having fun with that, so could be considered failing fast. If you're not having fun with it already, and you know you're not having fun with it, then drop it. If you are failing fast by learning what you don't like. Now that you're learning what you don't like, change it. Do something else that you think that you might like better. See if you like it. If you don't like that, try something else. But if you've realized that the thing that you're doing is something you don't like, now is the time to change. You've done your fail fast. Now you have to go to the next step. Blank says, to me, since debut doesn't mean starting to stream, but is usually a whole event, I don't take much issue with the labor pre-debut if they still haven't done said event. A streamer is already streaming, but having the official debut event scheduled that they're prepping for, I think it's fair to call that pre-debut. My thing is, like, if you're already streaming, specifically with a model, my issue is, if you're streaming, face cam or no cam, then that's one thing, but if you're streaming PNG, I'm kind of iffy on that because I understand the direction that you're saying. I understand that you're saying that it is a whole event, it is a whole process, but it also does kind of undermine PNG tubing as a whole. That's my main issue with it, is that you're undermining PNG tubers. If you want to have a debut that is just, you know, with the PNG because you want to make an event and you want to celebrate a milestone, I've got no issue with that. But 9 times out of 10, the debut is going from PNG to Live 2D, or PNG to 3D, and it basically is saying, like, I wasn't a real VTuber until I got out of PNG. That's the issue that I have with it. Also, Newbie Reaper, thank you for the glow stick. Thank you, thank you. Sorry I didn't reply to that earlier, but I appreciate it. Town says, I used to enjoy doing stop-motion animation. Maybe I can experiment with that. Yeah, keep experimenting with things. That's the part of fail fast. Don't underestimate PNG. That's how I started. I still do PNG tubing with the female version. Exactly, yeah. We're gonna have to get ready to dress like a leprechaun. Have a great stream and take care. Alright, Celtic Alchemist. Proof in Discord, oh boy. If you're gonna be posting a picture, please make sure to cover your face. I do have that as a rule, because that goes for, that goes for all people. It's just a privacy protection thing. But yeah, definitely have fun with that. All clothes, no human? Okay, that's totally fine. Have fun with that, Celtic Alchemist. I hope you enjoy the events. Party Kitten says, hi, subscribe today. I've already learned so much. I'm planning to start slowly. First YouTube channel with PNG, then streaming. I'm constantly worried about everything. It's definitely normal to be worried about everything, Party Kitten. Also, thank you very much for subscribing. If you have any, like, specific questions, I can do more of these streams in the future. I think I've kind of exhausted most of the questions for today, but you guys, like, think about this kind of content. Think about, you know, things that you might learn and try out and then have questions on later. And the other thing that, that my mentor tells everyone that I want to say as well is keep in mind that this is all just my opinion. This is all just, my take on things. I am, I'm not, like, the be-all, end-all to this, right? I very much am just giving my 2 cents, the direction that I think helps me, the direction that I've helped other people with. I've done, like, consultations for people, and these are just sort of, like, my takes and experiences. So if something else works different for you, then that is totally valid. Blank says it's the gospel truth, got it. No! No, I do not have the gospel truth here. You are all a bunch of cute bunnies sitting here listening to a Fox Gap, and I very, very much appreciate it, but ultimately you have to do what works for you. Talon says, do you mind if I keep talking about the ideas? I feel I'm talking about myself a little too much, but enjoy the kind of conversation. It really is best on IRIAM, to be honest. But yeah, also if you ever want to get, like, really, really in-depth, I do offer branding consultation. I do have my VGen, where I do, branding as a service for people. Or I sort of help them get going with things, right? I do a lot of pre-debut branding, I do a lot of re-debut branding. This is something that I like helping people with. So if you're ever interested in that, I do offer it as a service, too. Can I give an overview of what branding is? I feel like that would have made sense at the beginning of this stream. Branding is... I'm gonna steal Thornscale's quote because I've always loved this. He said this to me once, and it's stuck with me ever since. Branding is a virtual atlas of your reality. In VTubing, anyway. It's a virtual atlas of your reality, and essentially that it's like the blueprint for everything you do. It's how you get known. It's what you're known for. It's how your audience knows you. It's everything. It's everything from your visuals, to your content, to your assets, to your personality, to your audience. It's all branding. Everything in VTubing technically has branding. So it's hard to, like, I can't really separate it in sense of, like, marketing branding for big conglomerate or branding for, like, artists, right? When it comes to VTubing, your brand is everything that your audience thinks of you for. And the audience itself. You might have already done it because I'm late. No, I actually didn't. I just didn't expect anyone to ask. So, my branding... I did this stream one time where I was talking about the pillars of branding, right? The pillars of VTuber branding and concept. And it starts with your why. Why are you VTubing in general? Is it something where VTubing is actually going to solve all your issues? Like Talon's currently going through this, right? Is VTubing the right path for you? What is it about VTubing that is going to make it different from other types of content, right? Then you go into, what are you doing as a VTuber? Then you go into, okay, now that I know that I want to make this type of content, and that I know I want to do it with VTubing, how does your lore tie in? Your story, your glue piece, right? And then comes your audience, and then comes your visuals. And it's weird to say this as a visual art streamer VTuber, but the visuals are actually last. The visuals are a whole other world to themselves, but they come after everything else. Your audience, the reason you're VTubing, and the content that you want to make are your first 3 pillars. The 4th one is your concept. And that's when you go into, like, you know, am I a fox VTuber? Am I a cat VTuber? Blah, blah, blah. And then you have to try to bring that back to those other 3 pillars to have that, you know, big support. It's kind of like the elements of VTubing, right? You have to master the 4 elements of VTubing. I'm VTubing so I can get my story and lore out. That's really good. I was there. I think I devolved the stream. No, it's fine. That was a YouTube stream, so probably not. I did that a while ago, actually, but I do have the VOD on my YouTube channel if you're curious about it. And I kind of have that VOD on my consultation listing as well, So you can sort of see that when I do consultations, the direction I go with things. Because I sort of have, like, a formula in my head of how everything ties together for people. Blank says, branding is how you choose to present and sell yourself to the world. The mask laid atop everything your audience beholds. Exactly, yeah. But yeah, if you, I think... I think I'll probably wrap it up here, because I have been streaming for a bit, and I need to eat something. But I think we went over a lot of really, really great topics today. We can do another branding stream in the future. These will probably be things that we most likely do on Monday. Maybe not every Monday, maybe just some Mondays we just do a little bit of catch-up. But if we want to have dedicated streams in the future, we can do that as well. If you've not joined the Discord yet, definitely consider joining the Discord. If you're on the YouTube side, you can type !Discord. If you're on the IRIAM side, you're gonna have to go to the YouTube and go into the About Me page and find the link there. But yeah, yes, thank you. Thank you, Eve. If you join the Discord, please be respectful, because we have had some issues with that, and I'm not above kicking people, because I do run my Discord a little bit stricter than most. It is a fully safe for work Discord. I'm very serious about that, and we're all about mutual respect here. So thank you so much, you guys who tuned in. I'll just shout this on the YouTube end in case anybody is interested. But yeah. Vesa said I'll ban. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't mess around. We try to keep everything very, very up and up, right? But anyway, I hope that this stream has helped you. I hope it's given you guys some good ideas, good concepts, good things to think about. And I hope that it helps your direction. And if you ever want to, like, talk a little bit about it in the Discord, in the Creative Cafe, I'm happy to chit-chat a little. I won't go super, super crazy. If there's anything really, really in-depth, I recommend either an IRIAM stream or a consultation. But regardless, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you may be in the world or the worlds beyond. And well, thank you so much, Stargazers. All the best.